The Action Line on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Talking with Rutherford County newsmakers about what matters most to you.
Your host, J. Paul Newman of the monthly District Attorney Show.
The viewpoints and opinions expressed on this broadcast are the viewpoints and opinions of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints and opinions of this show, its host, or the management of this station. You are listening to WGNS. We welcome everyone to the program. My name is J. Paul Newman. My co-hosts today are Rutherford County District Attorney General Jennings Jones and Rutherford County Assistant District Attorney Trevor Lynch. We thank WGNS for providing the airtime, and we also thank our producer, Scott Walker. Most of all, we thank you for listening. To begin the broadcast, in our Call to Conviction segment, I will discuss the 1997 murder of 32-year-old Lori Faye Wilson. Then, in our Inside the Court segment, District Attorney General Jennings Jones will tell you about recent and upcoming grand jury, general sessions, and circuit court activity. And later, in our What's the Law segment, Assistant District Attorney General Trevor Lynch will discuss an area of the law that impacts on our community. We will begin our broadcast after you listen to these important messages.
The Action Line on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
This is Peter Demas. Come eat with us at Demas's Restaurant. A lot of times when you get steamed vegetables such as broccoli or cauliflower, it's either soggy. One of the things that we wanted to do was make certain that it was still soft, but still had a little bit of a crunch to it. And so we worked on the procedure of how to cook that. And then all of our vegetables are seasoned with our seasoned salt. We keep that seasoned salt at home, and I can tell you almost all the vegetables I cook at home have the seasoned salt on it. Come eat with us at Demas's Restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Want to take charge of your energy bill? Download the free MyMTE app to track your usage, pay bills, and report outages right from your phone. Download in the App Store today.
The monthly District Attorney Show, heard the first Friday of each month, exclusively on News Radio WGNS. Your host, J. Paul Newman, will now take you on a journey to explore recent Rutherford County court cases, cold cases, and more.
This is J. Paul Newman, and I have been a licensed attorney for over 40 years. During that time, I have witnessed many improvements in presenting a case to the jury. Perhaps the most dramatic and impactful improvement has been the use of computer technology in the courtroom. The case we present today was a true landmark case that was tried in 1998. It was the first case in the state of Tennessee that the District Attorney's Office used computers and computer projectors to present evidence in a more effective manner to the jury. Evidence such as crime scene photographs, video statements, and documents could be enlarged and could also be focused on to show minute details of crucial evidence quickly and efficiently. Following that trial, it became standard procedure to use that computer technology in every homicide trial in Rutherford County, and the use of that technology was quickly adopted statewide. I was proud to be a part of the team that prosecuted that groundbreaking case. And now, in our Call to Conviction segment, We will look at that case. It is the case involving the brutal domestic violence murder of Lori Faye Wilson and the trial and conviction of her husband, Charles Wayne Wilson.
From call to conviction, time now for a look back at one of the more intriguing and important cases for this community. From the crime, the investigation, to the prosecution.
On today's Call to Conviction segment, we'll review the case of Lori Faye Wilson. Lori Faye Wilson lived in the Stones River Apartments on Warrior Drive. She was a valued employee at a local dry cleaning business. She was 32 years old. She was married to Charles Wayne Wilson. Charles Wilson was 44 years old and was self-employed. On Sunday, June 22, 1997, government employee Bart Smith received a phone call from Charles Wilson. Information from that phone call brought police to the Stones River Apartments. Inside of Lori Faye Wilson's apartment, the police find her lifeless body. The medical examiner determines that Lori Wilson had up to 17 distinct injuries. Miss Wilson had bruises all over her body. Some were a week or more old. Others appeared to be recent injuries. Her ribs were broken. She had cuts on her hands, feet, and back. She had bruises to her face and 2 black eyes. The medical examiner ruled that Lori Faye Wilson died as a result of a beating that caused traumatic brain injury and death. Charles Wilson was not at the apartment. The police determined that Charles Wilson has fled the scene. Within days, Charles Wilson's vehicle is located parked at the Nashville airport. Crime Stoppers posts a $1,000 reward. And on June 25, 1997, Charles Wilson is placed on the TBI's most wanted list. It will be 69 days before the police come face to face with Charles Wayne Wilson. On September the 1st, 1997, Charles Wilson is going the wrong way on a one-way street in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga police officer Mike Stroh stops Wilson and asks for his driver's license. Charles Wilson gives the officer a driver's license bearing the name of William Lockhart. Wilson is acting nervous. Officer Stroh decides to take precautions. He searches Wilson and finds a loaded 9mm pistol in Wilson's waistband. Wilson ultimately tells Officer Stroh who he really is and that he is wanted for murder in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The trial of the state of Tennessee versus Charles Wayne Wilson began on June the 1st, 1998. Charles Wilson was represented by Rutherford County Public Defender Gerald Melton. The state prosecution team consisted of District Attorney General William C. Weitzel Jr. and Assistant District Attorney J. Paul Newman. The trial was held in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and was presided over by the Honorable Judge Steve Daniel. Wilson's defense was that he did not kill Lori Wilson. Evidence presented by the state indicated otherwise. On the second day of trial, June the 2nd, 1998, Charles Wilson suddenly decided he wanted to plead guilty. After much discussion, the state and the defense agreed that Charles Wilson enter a plea to second-degree murder and that Wilson be sentenced to serve 60 years in prison. Charles Wilson was 44 years old when he beat Lori Faye Wilson to death. Under this sentence, Charles Wilson would be over 90 years old before he would ever be eligible for parole. Detective Mike Turner of the Murfreesboro Police Department was the lead detective on the case. We now welcome Mike Turner to the broadcast.
Good morning.
Sergeant Turner, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you became involved in law enforcement?
I am the son of a retired Marine Corps officer, and I had 2 choices, either police work or going into the military. And after meeting my now current wife, decided to raise a family and stay here and go into law enforcement.
Can you tell us some of the names of the many law enforcement officers who were a part of the team that investigated this brutal murder?
Yes, sir. Mickey McCullough, Jim Gage, Scott Miller, Captain Nathan McDaniel. Hubert Jones is a patrol officer who responded to the scene that night. He's now a sergeant with our detective division. Myself and members of the TBI's crime lab. I believe the FBI got involved somewhat. Post office and their investigators. Officer Stroh from the Chattanooga Police Department. And I'm sure there's more that I've forgotten about over time.
At some point, Mr. Wilson became a fugitive. Can you tell me what efforts were made to locate Charles Wayne Wilson?
Yes, sir. The Crime Stoppers offered a reward for information leading to his arrest. We also listed him in the NCIC computer network as being wanted for first-degree murder, and I believe the TBI at some point shortly after that had placed him on their top 10 most wanted list.
From your investigation, I believe you determined that Mr. Wilson obtained a Florida driver's license in a different name to help hide his identity. Can you tell us how he went about getting that license?
He informed us that he had paid for Social Security card and a birth certificate in the name of William Lockhart. He used that to obtain false identification from the state of Florida.
Can you tell us if Mr. Wilson had taken any other steps to help change his identity and to avoid arrest?
Yes, sir. He grew a beard. He drove his personal truck, I believe it was a Dodge pickup if I'm not mistaken, and parked it at the Nashville airport and then fled by unknown means to Chattanooga, down through Georgia and into Florida.
Did he ever purchase another vehicle?
Yes, sir, he did. He purchased a Ford pickup truck in Florida, or we assume was in Florida since it was registered in Florida and was bearing a Florida license plate.
When he was arrested in Chattanooga, did he have any large sum of money on it?
I believe we located $3,000 that was eventually seized from him and held.
Can you tell me whether or not Charles Wilson ever gave a statement to you?
He did. He admitted that he had slapped Lori Wilson, maybe knocked her down over a chair, but he never did admit to actually killing her.
In the statement that he gave to you, did he ever mention anything about putting her in the shower?
Yes, sir. He informed us that he heard her coughing later on that night, and that he woke up. He tried to assist her by breathing into her, which we assumed was rescue breathing, and then he put her in the shower to clean her up.
I know that you responded to the scene, and I know that when you went to the scene, you observed Miss Wilson. Can you tell me, was there anything unusual concerning any rings that he mentioned in the statement?
Yes, sir. When I found her, she was laid out on top of a sleeping bag in the bedroom of the apartment and did have 3 rings placed upon her chest.
Through your investigation, can you tell us what you believe were the motives for him to commit this crime?
We believe he was angry over some perceived damage to his truck that she may have caused by spilling some gasoline in the bed of the truck. He also indicated through letters to family that he was upset with her son because he had messed up some paint on a job he was working. But past that, I don't think we really did come to a clear-cut motive other than he beat her on a regular basis.
I know that her co-workers at the dry cleaning company were very supportive and that they gave you information concerning seeing bruises on her in the past. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. She had bruising to various degrees of healing, from fresh bruising to old bruising, and they informed us of this, that she had been a victim of abuse in the past.
This was not Charles Wilson's first brush with the law. Can you tell us about Charles Wilson's background and his interaction with law enforcement?
He had served time in state prison system for prior convictions for theft and burglary. At one point, he was being arrested by McMinnville Police Department and officers, and during that arrest, he attempted to get one of the weapons from one of the officers. He's been arrested for being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm. He's got a pretty violent past history at this point.
I know that we've talked a lot about Charles Wilson, but can you tell us a little bit about the victim, Lori Faye Wilson?
From everything that I could learn about her, from her co-workers, from her family, she didn't have a natural enemy. She was liked by everybody. The customers that came into the business where she worked liked her. She was just a nice person from everything I could gather.
In this case, Charles Wilson will probably not live long enough to make parole. He will be in his 90s when he is eligible for parole. In your opinion, does the punishment fit this crime?
Oh, most definitely. Based on his violent past, he's a danger to society. Crime he committed and the severity of the beating that she received that eventually caused her death, I think it's very appropriate. This person who has that kind of past criminal history, assaults law enforcement officers, he's just a danger to society, period.
Can you give us some indication about the different size between Mr. Wilson and Lori Faye Wilson?
She was a very small and petite woman, very small in stature. Charles Wilson was well over 6'4", probably closer to 6'5". Very large individual. The physical difference between the two was immense.
Sergeant Turner, this was a case of domestic violence, and we hope this case stands for the proposition that domestic violence will not be tolerated in our community. What advice would you give to victims of domestic violence?
They need to reach out and look for help, ask for help, call the police department, whether it's the sheriff's department, our department, any law enforcement agency, wherever they're at, to seek assistance. Domestic violence won't get better by itself. And without them reaching out to us, if we don't know about it, we can't help them stop it.
Sergeant Turner, we want to congratulate you and the other members of the Murfreesboro Police Department for bringing Charles Wilson to justice.
The monthly District Attorney Show, heard exclusively on News Radio WGNS the first Friday of each month.
He's local. Certified financial planner Jason Qualls. Financial Coaching Radio. Weekdays at 4 on News Radio WGNS.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric, and they want to make sure you're in the loop. Head over to MTE.com to update your contact info so you can get those timely alerts on outages, billing, and more. That's MTE.com.
This is Peter Demas. Come eat with us at Demas's Restaurant. A lot of times when you get steamed vegetables such as broccoli or cauliflower, it's either soggy. One of the things that we wanted to do was make certain that it was still soft, but still had a little bit of a crunch to it. And so we worked on the procedure of how to cook that. And then all of our vegetables are seasoned with our seasoned salt. We keep that seasoned salt at home, and I can tell you almost all the vegetables I cook at home have the seasoned salt on it. Come eat with us at Demas's Restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
What's the law? Time now for an examination of the laws of Tennessee. This is not intended to be legal advice and is being presented solely for the informational benefit of our listening audience. You should always consult with an attorney whenever you need or rely on legal advice.
Here's Assistant Rutherford County DA Trevor Lynch.
Good morning, listeners, and welcome to this episode of What's the Law? Today, we're going to briefly discuss what steps are involved if the District Attorney's Office determines it is necessary to ask the court to exhume or disinter or dig up a body for additional unperformed analysis or testing. Tennessee Code Annotated 387107 outlines the procedure the state must follow when it wants to have human remains exhumed. Only 4 groups can make such a request of the court: a state or county medical examiner, the district attorney general of the district in which it is claimed the death occurred, the district attorney general of the district in which the act causing the death occurred, or the district attorney general of the district in which the body is buried or interred. In fairness, however, the last 3 may be one and the same. The grounds for disinterment, or the reasons why it can be requested, are as follows. The person's death occurred under either of the following circumstances. The person was buried or interred before an autopsy could be performed, or the disinterment will substantially assist in the collection of evidence for a pending criminal investigation, regardless of whether an autopsy was previously performed, or for DNA, or for scientific or forensic evidence to be collected. The petition must set out the reasons why the district attorney believes that the death in question needs a post-mortem examination or autopsy. The petition is to be served on the next of kin of the deceased. The petition can be presented to a court whether it is in session or not. A court with jurisdiction over a county can order an exhumation or autopsy in the county in which it is claimed that the death occurred, the county in which the act causing the death occurred, or any other county of a judicial district in which circumstances leading to the death were likely to have occurred. The judge hearing the petition under this section shall have the power and authority to rule upon the petition in any county in which the judge has jurisdiction. The judge is authorized to consider the petition and, in the exercise of sound discretion, either make or deny an order authorizing the disinterment and autopsy to be performed on the body of the deceased. There's no clear outline of what is required for the district attorney to petition the court or for the court to find in order to require exhumation. However, when questions that were not answered may be answered by an autopsy and or additional testing, the district attorney will outline the facts he or she believes necessary to establish cause for disinterment. While that doesn't seem to be an extensive process, that is just the process required to get approval. There are still several other steps to take and agencies that must be involved. The funeral home that oversaw the burial of the person must be contacted to arrange for locating the body. Once located, either independently or with the assistance of the funeral home, a specialized party must undertake the process of digging up the body. Care must be taken in order not to damage the vault or the casket, and especially the remains. Once removed from the ground, or potentially mausoleum, the body must be transported to the medical examiner's office for the autopsy or collection of DNA or other scientific testing. After completion of the autopsy or additional testing, the body must be laid to rest again or cremated if the next of kin so desires. So the reverse process is followed. The body must be transported back to the funeral home or potentially directly to the gravesite or mausoleum. Then the body is either buried or interred. This is not an action to be taken lightly, not just because of the additional expense that is required, but the emotional impact on the family of the deceased. It is another burden that rests on the shoulders of the elected District Attorney General, a decision that he carries or she carries with them when making all decisions whether or not to ask the court for disinterment. And that would conclude this episode of What's the Law. Thank you for joining us today.
The Rutherford County District Attorney's Show, featured on the Action Line the first Friday of each month.
This is Paul Newman. This broadcast often asks for the community's help in solving cold case homicides. It is my belief that the law enforcement agencies that deserve special recognition for citizen service are those agencies that address the need for cold case homicide investigation units. Our community was blessed to have a community leader who distinguished himself in this area. That leader is former Rutherford County Sheriff Truman Jones. Under Truman Jones's leadership, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office established the first cold case investigation unit in Rutherford County. It is a unit which had remarkable success and sent a clear message that unsolved murder cases are never closed, for there is no expiration date on a murder case. It also sent the message that a murder victim's family should never feel abandoned, because law enforcement never forgets an unsolved murder or its victim. And the final message is that people who commit murder should always know that law enforcement may be coming at any time to hold them accountable for taking a human life.
Every homicide, every rape, every robbery affects the entire community. People who are victims of these crimes need closure. The people who committed these crimes must be held accountable. Law enforcement needs the community's help in seeking justice. Please listen as we review an unsolved mystery in this month's Cold Case Profile.
On today's Cold Case Profile, we will be asking for your help in solving a brutal murder. The date was May the 17th, 2020, and the time was approximately 5 a.m. when the Murfreesboro Police Department responded to a duplex in the 700 block of East Northfield Boulevard. Upon their arrival, the police discovered the lifeless body of 45-year-old Thomas Holland. The body is laying on the duplex driveway. Thomas Holland had been shot several times. Murfreesboro Police Detective Cody Thomas was assigned as the lead investigator on the case. As part of the investigation, an autopsy was conducted, and it was determined that Thomas Holland had been drinking prior to the shooting. Detectives also believed that there may have been an altercation that led up to Thomas Holland's death. Early in the investigation, the Murfreesboro Police Department did develop one person as a possible suspect. However, later investigators were able to exclude that person as not being responsible for the death of Thomas Holland. The Murfreesboro Police Department continues their investigation, but as of today, no one has been arrested for this brutal crime. Thomas Holland lived in Murfreesboro, and he had been a volunteer at the Greenhouse Ministries. We ask that you please join law enforcement and Thomas Holland's family in seeking justice for Thomas Holland. If you have any information regarding the murder of 45-year-old Thomas Holland, please contact the Murfreesboro Police Department. The number to call is 615-893-2717. That number again is 615-893-2717. Or you can email your information to crimetips@murfreesborotn.gov. That email address again is crimetips@murfreesborotn.gov. And if you wish to remain anonymous, you can provide your confidential information through Crime Stoppers. If your information leads to an arrest and a conviction in this case, you may be eligible to receive up to $1,000. The number to call is 615-893-7867. That number again is 615-893-7867. Please help us bring closure to those who knew and loved Thomas Holland, and help us to bring justice to whoever caused his death. And this has been today's Cold Case Profile.
Hi, this is Dan with Music World and Drummer's Den. Our prices are as good or better than the box stores. I don't think you'll do better by shopping online than you would by coming in. Being able to hold a guitar, try it out. You can't do that online. I am absolutely sure we have more selection of instruments than anybody else in the area. New and used. We have used instruments as well as new ones. Music World and Drummer's Den, 2762 South Church Street, right across from the golf course. Thank you very much for being our customers.
This is Doris Ann with the Rutherford County Farm Bureau. We would like to show our appreciation to all of our Farm Bureau members by inviting you to our annual membership meeting, Monday, August the 10th, at Lane Agri Park, 315 John Ross Boulevard. We will start serving barbecue with all the trimmings at 5 p.m. The meeting will be immediately following. For more information, call 615-893-1213 or visit our website at rcfarmbureau.org.
This is Inside the Courts. A look at this month's trials, pleas, and grand jury action. Inside the Courts is presented as a courtesy of the Rutherford County Clerk's Office.
With today's special feature, here is Rutherford County District Attorney Jennings Jones.
Good morning, everyone. This is your District Attorney General, Jennings Jones, and today I will be your tour guide through this episode of Inside the Courts. Now, we begin this segment by stating that none of the defendants named in any upcoming trials have been convicted, and they are presumed by our law to be innocent. With that as a prelude, we will now go inside the courts. On August 7th of 2024, officers with the Laverne Police Department responded to a shots fired call on Waldron Road. Upon arrival, officers made contact with two females, Miss Swan Fox and Miss Alba Isaza. Miss Fox was visibly upset and had multiple facial injuries. Miss Fox advised officers that she had been driving her vehicle on Forest Ridge Drive when her boyfriend, Mr. Jackie Sims Jr., drove his car into hers and forced her to stop. He then pulled out a handgun and demanded she get into his vehicle. When she got into the vehicle, he struck her multiple times on the head and face with his firearm. Mr. Sims then drove her to one of the Greenway's parking lots and ordered her out of the vehicle. Mr. Sims then demanded Miss Fox take off her shirt. He fired one round into the air and demanded she get back in the vehicle. Mr. Sims eventually got onto Waldron Road and again stopped the vehicle and started assaulting Miss Fox. A passerby, Miss Alba Isaza, saw the assault. She turned her vehicle around and pulled up behind Miss Sims' vehicle. Miss Fox took that opportunity to jump out of the vehicle and run to Miss Isaza, who then let Miss Fox inside the car. Miss Fox repeatedly screamed, "He's got a gun," and Miss Isaza attempted to drive away but was eventually forced off the road by Mr. Sims. Both women ran from the vehicle. Mr. Sims exited his vehicle and shot once at the fleeing women before returning to his vehicle and driving away. Miss Isaza gave officers the same facts, and officers collected physical evidence from all locations. Officers located Miss Fox's abandoned vehicle with paint transfer from Mr. Sims' vehicle, collected Miss Fox's shirt in a spent cartridge case from the Greenway parking lot, and recovered a spent cartridge case from the scene where the two women fled after being run off the road by Mr. Sims. There were several other citizens who were witnesses to the assaults against Miss Fox and Miss Isaza. Mr. Sims was later discovered hiding at a residence in Nashville and was arrested and charged. It was also discovered he had prior felony convictions for a previous attempted second-degree murder, aggravated burglary, and attempted especially aggravated burglary. Mr. Sims was on federal probation for a previous conviction of felon in possession of a weapon. Mr. Sims appeared in the General Sessions Courts of Rutherford County for a preliminary hearing on October the 7th of 2024. The victim, Miss Fox, refused to appear in court, and several charges were dismissed. However, Miss Isaza did appear, and the court found probable cause to bind over aggravated assault, possession of a weapon by a felon, and employment of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. Assistant District Attorney Dana Miner was assigned as the lead prosecutor and requested an indictment reinstating the charges that the court had dismissed. In March of last year, a Rutherford County grand jury indicted Mr. Sims for especially aggravated kidnapping, 5 counts of aggravated assault, employing a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony, felon in possession of a weapon, aggravated robbery, interference with a 911 call, and vandalism. On July 30th of this year, a jury of his peers convicted Mr. Sims of especially aggravated kidnapping, simple assault, 3 counts of aggravated assault, employing a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Once again, Miss Fox refused to appear and testify. However, Miss Isaza and other witnesses did testify. Through the introduction of physical evidence and the excited utterances Miss Fox made the night of the offense, the state was able to introduce the whole story of what occurred on the night of August 7, 2024. The defendant was represented by counsel Mr. Rusty Perkins, and the state was represented by Assistant District Attorneys Dana Miner and Ashley Chisholm Hall. Mr. Sims faces a range of 25 to 100 years in the custody of the Tennessee Department of Corrections. Dana Miner has been an assistant district attorney in my office for 15 years and primarily focuses on domestic abuse-based crimes. My office and the community appreciate her dedication to the prosecution of domestic abusers. On September 2nd, 2022, Miss Vanessa Alvarez and her 9-year-old daughter were forcefully abducted by her ex-boyfriend and father of her 9-year-old child, Mr. Jorge Perez Gonzalez, in a Walmart parking lot. Mr. Perez Gonzalez claimed he just wanted to see his daughter and give Miss Alvarez some money to support the daughter. However, when she arrived, he reached inside her vehicle, removed the keys, and ordered Miss Alvarez out of the driver's seat and into the passenger seat. Mr. Perez Gonzalez then began to drive the vehicle out of Rutherford County and across state lines into Alabama. During the drive, he repeatedly threatened to kill Miss Alvarez and harm the child. At one point, Mr. Perez Gonzalez had to stop for gas at a station in Calera, Alabama. Miss Alvarez was allowed to go into the gas station with the child, and she immediately asked the store clerk to call 911. Local police responded, and Mr. Perez Gonzalez was taken into custody. In March of 2022, a Rutherford County grand jury indicted Mr. Perez Gonzalez for especially aggravated kidnapping, carjacking, theft, and 2 counts of domestic assault. On June 24th of this year, a jury of his peers convicted Mr. Perez Gonzalez of especially aggravated kidnapping, false imprisonment, carjacking, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and 2 counts of domestic assault. Mr. Perez Gonzalez is set for a sentencing hearing on September the 18th of this year before Circuit Court Judge Barry Tidwell. Mr. Perez Gonzalez was represented by counsel, Mr. Will Fraley, and the state was represented by Assistant District Attorneys Brent Pierce and Ashley Chisholm Hall. And that will conclude today's look inside the courts.
Broadcasting from the tallest tower in the city with that little red light on top. FM 100.5, FM 101.9, and AM 1450.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The monthly District Attorney Show, heard exclusively on News Radio, WGNS, the first Friday of each month.
If you missed any part of this program, it will be available shortly as a podcast on the WGNS website. As we end our program today, we thank WGNS for providing the airtime. And we thank our producer, Scott Walker. And we thank Mike Turner from the Murfreesboro Police Department. Most of all, we thank you for listening. We leave by saying, a safe community is the responsibility of each and every one of us. For my 2 co-hosts, Jennings Jones and Trevor Lynch, this is J. Paul Newman, bidding all of you a safe and blessed day.
The District Attorney's Office thanks you for listening to today's program. If you have any information regarding criminal activity in our community, please contact one of our law enforcement agencies. The information presented on today's show is solely for informational benefit and not intended to be legal advice. You should always consult an attorney whenever you need or rely on legal advice. Rutherford County's most trusted name in news. Talk Radio WGNS, Murfreesboro.